Welcome to the Shadow of History channel. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out more videos like this one. San Francisco, 1942. Two Japanese-American boys wait for a bus to an internment camp. Their small frames carry the heavy burden of wartime suspicion, marking a somber chapter of American history on a quiet sidewalk. London, 1934. A baby rests in a wire cage suspended outside a high-rise tenement window designed for fresh air and sunshine. These controversial devices reflected a radical urban approach to infant health and wellness. Havana, 1962. A young woman grips a rifle, guarding a bank during the tense missile crisis following Fidel Castro's orders. Ordinary citizens mobilized to defend the capital, turning daily life into a military front. Westerwald, 1914. Three young farmers walk toward a local dance. Captured by August Sander, their sharp suits and confident strides mask the looming shadow of the Great War, which would soon change Europe forever. Siam, 1927. Lahda and Ney stand beside a massive water buffalo in the tropical heat. This striking image by Ernest B. Schoedsack captures a quiet, rural moment in Thailand long before modern industrialization. Scotland, 1975. John Cleese stands on the muddy set of Monty Python and the Holy Grail between the absurdist humor and low-budget grit. A cinematic masterpiece was born, redefining British comedy for future generations. New York, 1919. A wounded Harlem hellfighter watches his regiment's victory parade from a distance, despite their heroic service in the 369th Infantry. These black soldiers return to a nation still gripped by segregation. British India, 1903. Professor James Rickalton poses with two Kashmiri brothers at the Delhi Durbar standing over 7 feet tall. These elite Royal Riflemen dwarf the photographer, showcasing the grand scale of colonial gatherings. Dallas, 1973. The Who commands the stage during a high-energy performance captured by Jay Dickman amidst the flashing lights and roaring crowds. The band defined the rebellious spirit and raw power of 70s rock. Kent, 1940. A young boy casually eats ice cream while sitting atop a naval mine washed up on a British beach. The deadly weapon became a playground seat, illustrating the surreal normalcy of wartime. Italy, 1965. A couple toasts to luxury while experiencing the vibrating sensations of an air turbo head massaging machine. This quirky invention captured the mid-century obsession with automated comfort and the pursuit of indulgence. Antarctica, 1911. Scientists Thomas Taylor and Charles Wright peer out from a shimmering ice grotto toward their ship. This frozen cathedral offered a rare, beautiful perspective during the grueling and legendary Terra Nova expedition. Frankfurt, 1958. Three chimpanzees at the local zoo strike the iconic poses of "Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil." The playful primates mirrored the ancient proverb, delighting audiences with their mimicry. New York, 1927. Jeanne Devreux, the city's first licensed female hairstylist, skillfully shaves a male customer breaking gender barriers in the grooming industry. She paved the way for women in professional barbering spaces. Italy, 1959. Charlton Heston and Stephen Boyd take a break from their chariots to ride a Vespa on the set of Ben-Hur. This modern transport provided a humorous contrast to the ancient epic. Pennsylvania, 1880s portraits show Native American students before and after their forced assimilation at the Carlisle School. This visual evidence documents the systemic effort to strip indigenous youth of their traditional culture and ancestral identities. France. 1938. Salvador Dalí and Coco Chanel share a quiet smoke and conversation. This meeting of two avant-garde icons represents a unique intersection of surrealist art and high fashion during the late interwar period. Tennessee, 1969. Johnny Cash kneels to buckle his wife June's shoe before a performance. This tender moment preceded the signing of contracts for their own theater, cementing their legendary partnership in country music. Chicago, 1893. A massive 125-ton steam hammer dominates the landscape of the world's fair built by the Bethlehem Iron Company. This industrial titan symbolized America's growing manufacturing power at the turn of the century. Beirut, 1985. A mother and daughter, both maimed by conflict, walk through a scarred urban landscape. This haunting image captures the devastating personal toll of the Lebanese Civil War on its most vulnerable citizens. Connecticut 1940 aviation pioneer Igor Sikorsky prepares to pilot his experimental VS-300 helicopter. His groundbreaking work in Bridgeport laid the technical foundation for modern vertical flight, forever changing the way humanity traverses the skies. California, 1949. Marlon Brando rehearses for the men while paralyzed veterans play cards nearby, immersed in the hospital environment. Brando's dedication to realism helped redefine method acting and brought focus to spinal injuries. New York, 1914. Painters balance precariously on the massive suspender cables of the Brooklyn Bridge, suspended high above the East River. These workers maintain the iconic structure without the safety gear of modern times. Jamaica, 1962. Sean Connery takes a moment to sign a coconut for a young fan on the tropical set of Dr. No. The original James Bond began his journey toward becoming a cinematic legend. United States, 1942. A worker is dwarfed by the massive steel gears of a Navy vessel at General Electric. This perspective emphasizes the staggering industrial scale required to fuel the Allied war effort during World War II. Sydney, 1915. Equestrian Esther Stace clears a record 6'6" jump while riding side saddle. This incredible feat of skill and balance remained unbroken for 98 years, standing as a testament to her athletic prowess. London, 1909. A museum staff member sits comfortably inside the reconstructed jaws of a prehistoric megalodon. The sheer scale of the ancient predator's teeth highlights the terrifying power of the world's largest extinct shark. Baltimore, 1904. Smashed brick and charred timber litter the streets following a catastrophic fire. The Great Baltimore Fire leveled the city center, leading to the national standardization of firefighting equipment across the country. London, 1937. Wealthy Harrovians in top hats stand near working-class youths outside a cricket match. This single frame perfectly captures the rigid social stratification and class contrasts of pre-war British society during summertime. Tokyo, 1970s. Young men in leather jackets pose confidently with their motorcycles captured by Seiji Kurata. This image documents the rise of Japanese rebel culture and the influence of Western styling on local youth. Pennsylvania, 1900. A group of breaker boys poses at the Woodward coal mines covered in soot and grime. These children performed dangerous labor, fueling the industrial age at the cost of their childhoods. Grand Canyon, 1914. Early automobiles line the rim of the vast canyon as tourists take in the view. These primitive cars represent the dawn of the American road trip and the democratization of travel. Brussels, 1927. The world's greatest scientific minds gather at the Solvay Conference with 17 Nobel Prize winners in attendance. This meeting shaped the future of quantum mechanics and our understanding of the universe. Switzerland, 1979. Jean Piaget sits in his home office, surrounded by books, the pioneer of constructivism. He revolutionized education by proving that children actively build knowledge through their unique interactions with the world. United States, 1939. A family pedals together on a unique four-person bicycle invention. This quirky contraption aimed to turn exercise into a social family outing, reflecting the era's fascination with creative mechanical solutions. New York, 1940s. Children turn a city street into a vibrant playground amidst the brownstones and parked cars. Their imaginative games capture the resilient spirit of urban childhood during a decade of transition. New York, 1920s. A primitive filling station serves the first generation of mass-produced cars as the city expanded. These early hubs of commerce became essential landmarks in the rapidly evolving landscape of motorized travel. New York, 1904, an immigrant family arrives at Ellis Island, carrying their entire lives in bundles. Their weary but hopeful faces represent the millions who cross the Atlantic seeking a new beginning in America. London, 1877. A family navigates the city streets, living a nomadic life in the heart of the British Empire. This rare photograph provides a glimpse into the precarious existence of the urban poor. United States, 1920s. 3 riders balance on a custom-built bicycle. For 3, this elongated frame was a testament to the decade's love for novelty and the enduring popularity of cycling as a social activity. Roman Empire, this 20-sided die, carved from rock crystal over 2,000 years ago, reveals an ancient love for gaming. It proves that the desire for chance and competition transcends the boundaries of time. France, 1899. Illustrators imagine aerial firemen soaring through the sky to battle blazes while their flying machines look whimsical. Today, these drawings accurately predicted the modern use of aviation in emergency response and firefighting. New York, 1980s. Graffiti covers the interior of a subway car as passengers sit in quiet contemplation. This gritty aesthetic defined an era of urban decay and artistic rebellion in the city's underground. Vilnius, 1990 citizens stand in a long, weary queue outside a grocery store during a period of severe shortages. This scene illustrates the daily economic struggles faced during the final years of the Soviet Union. Pompeii at 79. A Roman couple stares out from a fresco, their expressions frozen forever by volcanic ash. This intimate portrait offers a haunting glimpse into daily life, moments before Vesuvius buried their world. Japan, 1986. The Philips PMC-100 combines a synthesizer, sequencer, and cassette recorder into one portable unit with its membrane keyboard and built-in strap. This quirky device represents the experimental dawn of mobile electronic music. North Atlantic, 1917. Warships sport bold, jagged shapes known as dazzle camouflage, designed to confuse enemy rangefinders rather than hide the vessel. These razzle-dazzle patterns turned massive steel hulls into disorienting optical illusions. Las Vegas, 1950s. Tourists gather to witness atomic detonations as a regular desert attraction, promoting itself as Atomic City. Vegas issued calendars for blast viewings. turning nuclear testing into a surreal, high-stakes spectacle. Paris, 1914. Vibrant red sails glow in this rare early color photograph of the Moulin Rouge captured just before the Great War. The image preserves the dazzling energy of the city's legendary cabaret. United States, 1964. A startled kitten stands on its hind legs, paws outstretched toward a mirror. This perfectly timed moment captures the universal confusion of a young animal discovering its own reflection for the first time. France, 1943. British spy Noor Inayat Khan operates a secret wireless radio for the resistance. As the first female operator dropped into occupied territory, she risked everything to transmit vital messages back to London. Memphis, 1977. Elvis Presley leans out of his car window on the way to the dentist. This final photograph captures the king hours before his sudden death, marking the end of a musical era. Syracuse, 1936. The sleek Mercury Streamliner glides past City Hall, its futuristic design cutting through the urban landscape. This locomotive symbolized the height of Art Deco elegance and the golden age of American rail. Normandy, 1944. Thousands of ships and vehicles swarm the coastline in a display of unmatched military scale. This overhead view captures the immense logistical power required to launch the D-Day invasion and liberate Europe. Soviet Union, 1984. Programmer Alexei Pajitnov creates a simple puzzle game called Tetris on an Electronica. 60 little did he know his digital blocks would soon become a global phenomenon, defining the video game industry. Alabama, 1965. Werner von Braun sits in his NASA office, surrounded by rocket models. The former German engineer became the architect of the Saturn V, propelling humanity toward the moon from the American South. United States, 1941. Shipyards roar to life to produce thousands of Liberty ships, built with unprecedented speed. These vessels formed a massive steel bridge across the Atlantic, proving essential to the Allied victory in World War II. New York, 1964. Over 3,000 workers gather on the steel skeleton of the Chase Manhattan Bank. This sea of hard hats celebrates the completion of a skyscraper that reshaped the iconic Manhattan skyline. Italy, 1972. Robert Duvall holds a large cue card for Marlon Brando. During a scene in The Godfather, Brando famously refused to memorize lines, relying on hidden placards to maintain his legendary performance. Finland, 1941. Soldiers suspend pine trees with ropes to camouflage a road from Russian aircraft. This creative engineering used the natural forest canopy to hide vital troop movements during the heat of World War II. France, 1932. Jean Bugatti stands proudly beside the massive Royale, one of only 7 ever built at sheer length, and luxury defined an era of automotive excess before the Great Depression changed everything. Montana, 1936. Arthur Rothstein captures a stark image of rural life during the Great Depression. The dusty landscape and weathered faces tell a story of resilience amidst the crushing economic hardship of the Dust Bowl. Hollywood, 1978. John Cazale's legendary streak ends after appearing in 5 consecutive Best Picture nominees, from The Godfather to The Deer Hunter. His short, brilliant career remains unmatched in the history of American cinema. Italy, 1929. Engineers recover Emperor Caligula's massive Nemi ships from a drained lake. These floating palaces featured marble floors and advanced plumbing, showcasing Roman technological genius 2,000 years before their modern rediscovery. France, 1899. Emil Rakovica poses for the world's first underwater portrait in the Mediterranean Sea using a complex waterproof camera rig. Louis Boutin pioneered the art of subaquatic photography in this groundbreaking single frame. Chernobyl, 1990. Engineer Georgy Reichtman measures extreme radiation levels deep beneath the destroyed reactor core. Working in the dark epicenter of the disaster, these liquidators faced invisible killers to secure the ruins of Unit 4. Russia, 1911. Grand Duchesses Olga and Tatiana Romanov pose for a formal portrait. These sisters lived a life of ultimate imperial privilege, unaware of the revolutionary shadows that would soon consume their family. United States, 1910. A man sits in a chair cradling a full-grown donkey in his lap, labeled "Rockabye Baby." This humorous vintage photograph captures the eccentric sense of humor found in early century portraiture. Ireland, 1927. 3 generations of women stand before their traditional stone cottage. This quiet moment captures the enduring strength of Irish family bonds and a rural way of life that remained unchanged for centuries. New York, 1930. Waiters serve a fine dining meal to steelworkers on an unfinished floor of the Waldorf Astoria. This daring publicity stunt showcased the hotel's commitment to service even hundreds of feet above Manhattan. New York, 1931. A steel worker reaches out to touch the Chrysler Building from the rising Empire State Building. Lewis Hines' iconic photography immortalized the brave men who built the modern skyline with nerves of steel. California, 1957. A grand Victorian house floats across the bay on a barge toward Tiburon. Relocating entire homes by water was a common, if spectacular, way to preserve historic architecture in the growing suburbs. Chicago. In 1930s, cars are stacked vertically in an innovative elevator-style parking garage. This early solution to urban congestion showed how the Windy City used mechanical ingenuity to handle the growing explosion of automobile ownership. Magnitogorsk, 1979. The rear front memorial depicts a worker handing a forged sword to a soldier. This massive monument symbolizes the industrial heart of the Soviet Union, supporting the front lines during the Great Patriotic War. Los Angeles, 1927. Uniformed policewomen pose proudly with their motorcycles. These trailblazing officers broke gender barriers, patrolling the streets of LA and bringing a new era of mobility to women in law enforcement. New Hampshire, 1869. The Mount Washington Cog Railroad carries tourists up the world's first mountain climbing track. This engineering marvel conquered steep slopes, turning the rugged summit into a popular destination for early American travelers. Texas, 1940s. Male car hops wearing shorts and cowboy boots serve female customers at a drive-in this role. Reversal service highlighted the unique, playful culture of Texas roadside dining during the mid-century era of the automobile. Paris, 1932. Workers balance precariously on the iron lattice of the Eiffel Tower. Brushes in hand, maintaining the world's most famous landmark required regular painting by hand, performed high above the city streets. Paris, 1924. Citizens step across rows of wooden chairs to navigate flooded streets. This resourceful solution allowed Parisians to continue their daily business without getting their feet wet during a major Seine River overflow. Paris, 1890. The city skyline stretches toward the horizon during the Belle Époque, before the modern skyscraper took over. The iron spire of the Eiffel Tower dominated a landscape of classic stone and zinc. Paris, 1910. A stone gargoyle leans over the edge of Notre Dame, staring out at the city below. This weathered guardian has watched over centuries of French history, from revolution to the modern age. Soviet Union, 1961. Yuri Gagarin enjoys a quiet game of billiards. This candid moment captures the world's first space traveler. During the same year, he made history by orbiting the Earth in Vostok 1. Warsaw, 1976. The members of ABBA pose before the massive palace of culture and science at the height of their global fame. The Swedish pop icons brought their disco energy to the Eastern Bloc. Scotland, 1856. Sergeant William McGregor displays his impressive Crimean whiskers and service medals. This colorized portrait brings the mid-Victorian soldier to life, highlighting the rugged pride of the legendary Scots Guards after battle. Paris, 1884. The Statue of Liberty stands surrounded by wooden scaffolding in the middle of a city street before crossing the Atlantic. Lady Liberty was a towering presence in France, awaiting her final assembly. Hanoi, 1973. American prisoners of war stand for a final roll call at Nga Tu. So prison after years of captivity, these men prepared for their journey home as the Vietnam War drew to a close. Germany, 1923. Children play with stacks of currency worth 100,000 marks, which equal just $1. This stark image illustrates the devastating hyperinflation that destroyed the German economy and wiped out life savings overnight. Niagara Falls, 1901. Annie Edson Taylor poses with the wooden barrel she used to survive a plunge over the falls on her 63rd birthday. She became the first person to achieve this death-defying feat. Nevada. The 1935 workers stand inside a massive 45-ton steel pipe during the construction of the Hoover Dam. These giant conduits were essential for diverting the Colorado River and taming the wild American West. Hollywood, 1955. James Dean and Sal Mineo relax on the set of Rebel Without a Cause. This candid moment captures the young stars who would soon define teenage angst and rebellion for a generation. Chicago, 1904. A woman poses in a sleek, wing-like costume as the original Batgirl decades before comic book superheroes dominated popular culture. This theatrical ensemble captured the Victorian fascination with Gothic, nocturnal aesthetics. Japan, 1922. Albert Einstein sits at a piano in the Nara Hotel, lost in melody during his lecture tour. The physicist found refuge in music, on proving that his genius transcended both science and borders. Czechoslovakia, 1945. American soldiers and local civilians share a celebratory drink during the liberation of Pilsen. This joyful toast marked the end of Nazi occupation and the beginning of a hard-won, fleeting peace. United States, 1972. An FBI agent, stripped to his underwear to prove he is unarmed, delivers a ransom to hijackers. This high-stakes exchange remains a chilling reminder of the golden age of airline skyjacking. California, 1902. Adventurous women stand atop the iconic Jeffrey Pine on Sentinel Dome, dressed in full-length skirts. They defied both gravity and social conventions to witness the breathtaking grandeur of the Yosemite wilderness. London, 1967. A young David Bowie stares into the camera, exuding a quiet, pre-stardom charisma. This portrait captures the artist just as he began navigating the vibrant, experimental scene of the swinging 60s. Connecticut, 1917. A 10-year-old boy works the soil at the Gildersleeve Tobacco Farm. Lewis Hines' lens captured the harsh reality of child labor, documenting a childhood sacrificed to the demands of industrial agriculture. Virginia, 1911. The Ison family stands together, their young boys already veterans of the cotton mills when asked his age. The smallest child looked to his father, who replied he was going on 14. United States, 1910s, a father and son share a genuine, laughing moment during a portrait session. This rare glimpse of informal joy breaks through the typically stiff and somber photographic traditions of the era. United States, 1918. Coal miners pause in disbelief after uncovering a petrified tree stump encased in coal. This prehistoric relic, buried for millions of years, briefly connected the industrial workers to the ancient earth. New York, 1966. A thick blanket of smog chokes the city streets, obscuring the famous skyline before the EPA was established. The metropolis struggled with lethal levels of pollution that threatened the public's health. Washington, 1980. Mount St. Helens hurls a massive plume of ash 11 miles into the sky. This explosive event turned day into night, coating the Pacific Northwest in gray dust and altering the landscape. United States, 1929. A gas station attendant chips a block of ice into a Coca-Cola cooler in the days before electric refrigeration. This labor-intensive process was the only way to provide travelers with a cold drink. Arctic, 1922. An Inuit man leans in close to hear music drifting from a mechanical gramophone. This striking intersection of traditional life and modern technology illustrates the rapid global spread of early recorded sound. London, 1981. Lady Diana Spencer drifts off to sleep during an official royal engagement unknown to the public at the time. Her exhaustion was a result of her unannounced pregnancy with the future Prince William. New York, 1952. Christine Jorgensen returns to America after undergoing groundbreaking gender reassignment surgery. Her courage and public transition became a pivotal moment for transgender visibility and the fight for medical and social rights. New York, 1904. An immigrant family pauses on the docks of Ellis Island. Clutching their few possessions, they stand at the gateway to a new life, representing the millions who helped build the American dream. United States, 1948. Holocaust survivor Harry Haft enters the professional boxing ring after surviving the horrors of the concentration camps by fighting for his life. He used the sport to seek a future in America. Alabama, 1921. Father James Coyle stands as a symbol of courage before his tragic murder by the KKK. His crime was performing an interracial marriage, a defiant act of faith in a deeply segregated South. France, 1793. Joseph Ducreux captures himself in a mocking, theatrical pose, famous for his unorthodox self-portraits. The French painter rejected traditional formality in favor of raw emotion, humor, and remarkably modern personality. Germany, 1945. The city of Dresden lies in a sea of shattered stone. Following Allied firebombing, this devastating aerial campaign reduced the Florence of the Elbe to ruins, claiming thousands of lives in its wake. Rome, 1960. Abebe Bikila sprints across the finish line to win the Olympic marathon. Barefoot, his historic victory made him the first black African to win a gold medal, inspiring a continent and the world. South Africa, 1980s. A young Elon Musk and his brother Kimball stand beside their father's Rolls-Royce. Long before the days of Tesla and SpaceX, the brothers prepared for a typical school day in Pretoria. Hollywood, 1938. Technicians use a massive rotating muslin sock to film the terrifying tornado scene for The Wizard of Oz. This practical effect created one of the most iconic moments in cinematic history. Scotland, 1929. The George Benny railplane glides along an experimental track. This propeller-driven transport system aimed to revolutionize travel by moving passengers at high speeds above existing rail lines, though it never saw production. Northern Ireland, 1910. Workers stand beside the massive forged chain links of the Titanic's anchor. These enormous steel components reflected the unprecedented scale of the ship that was intended to be the world's greatest. New York, 1920. Crowds pack Times Square, staring up at a scoreboard to listen to the World Series before the television age. All fans gathered in the streets to follow every play of the championship. Pennsylvania, 1910. A mining crew pauses deep underground, their faces etched with the grime of the coalface. These men fueled the nation's industry while working in some of the most dangerous conditions imaginable. New York, 1910. A primitive taxicab waits for a fare on a quiet city street. This early motor vehicle signaled the beginning of the end for horse-drawn transport in the bustling metropolis. Michigan, 1915. Workers flood out of the Ford Highland Park plant during a shift change. This sea of laborers helped perfect the assembly line, fundamentally changing how the world manufactures and consumes goods. Switzerland, 1900. Victorian mountaineers, including a woman in a restrictive corset and long skirt, navigate a deep alpine crevasse. Their daring ascent highlights a period when adventure often outpaced the evolution of sportswear. London, 1920s. Maintenance workers stand among the massive gears and mechanisms inside the Big Ben clock tower high above the Thames. They ensured the great clock kept perfect time for the British Empire. United Kingdom, 1987. Princess Diana sits casually on the fender of Prince Charles's vintage Aston Martin. This relaxed moment captured the princess's natural elegance during a private weekend away from the royal spotlight. Arkansas, 1972. Bill and Hillary Clinton pose as young law students long before their lives in the White House. This portrait captures the beginning of a political partnership that would reshape American modern history. United States, 1982. Protesters used sledgehammers to smash a Japanese car in a defiant display of economic frustration. This act reflected the intense tension and fear surrounding the decline of the American auto industry. Washington, 1970. A young Kurt Cobain shares a quiet moment with a department store, Santa Claus. This childhood snapshot offers a rare, innocent glimpse into the early life of the future grunge icon. Los Angeles, 1970s. Stanley Williams led a dangerous double life as a youth counselor and the founder of the Crips. His influence shaped the landscape of street gangs in California for decades to come. New York, 1945. A massive sea of people fills the streets to celebrate the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany. This collective explosion of joy marked the end of the war's long, dark shadow. Italy, 1st century BC. An intricate Roman water boiler rests in a villa near Pompeii. Its surviving pipes and fittings offer proof of the advanced plumbing and heating systems enjoyed by the ancient elite. Berlin, 1936. Young Jewish members of the Beitar movement stand together in a defiant show of unity amidst the rising tide of Nazism. They maintained their cultural identity and prepared for a different future. Kansas, 1958. The very first Pizza Hut opens its doors in a modest brick building in Wichita, founded by two brothers. This small storefront launched a global franchise that changed the American dining landscape. Texas, 1925-2, young boys carrying simple bamboo poles head toward the local fishing hole. This quiet image captures the simplicity of rural childhood in the American South during the mid-20s. Ireland, 1940. Children stand in the shadowed doorway of a tenement in the Dublin slums. Their faces reflect the harsh economic realities and poverty that gripped the city's working class during the war. United States, 1941. The USS North Carolina, a powerhouse of the new fast battleship class, cuts through the water. Her massive guns and speed represented the cutting edge of American naval might in World War II. New York, 1903. The iconic Flatiron Building towers over its neighbors shortly after completion. Its unique triangular shape made it an instant landmark, defying critics who feared the skyscraper would collapse in the wind. London, 1939. A milkman delivers fresh bottles to a grammar school just as the clouds of war gather. This daily routine continued even as the city prepared for the looming threat of the Blitz. London, 1902-2. Young boys stand together on a cobblestone street, their tattered clothes and stoic gazes reflecting the grit of urban life at the dawn of the 20th century in the capital. United States, 1930s. A truck featuring a massive, rotating product display rolls through the city. This early billboard on wheels represented the creative and aggressive new frontier of mobile advertising in the motor age. Texas, 1905. A young couple poses for their wedding portrait in the small town of Hallettsville. Their formal attire and steady gazes preserve a moment of hope and commitment from a bygone era. England, 1918. A glassworker carefully maneuvers a massive tube of rolled glass at a Lancashire factory. This dangerous and skilled labor was essential for providing the windows of a rapidly modernizing nation. India, 1930. A zebra harnessed to a small carriage trots through the streets of Calcutta. This unusual sight highlights the eccentricities of colonial transport and the diverse influences found in the bustling city. California, 1962. A technician tests a bulky prototype spacesuit in the scorching heat of the Mojave Desert. These early designs were critical steps toward the Apollo program and humanity's eventual walk on the moon. United States, 1901. A mother and father pose proudly with their 18 children for a massive family portrait. This staggering image reflects the domestic life and large household structures common at the century's turn. New York, 1912. A stylish woman steps off a streetcar. Her elegant dress and confident posture capturing the shifting fashion and increasing mobility of women in the pre-war American metropolis. Vienna, 1944. A massive concrete flak tower looms over the Augarten district. These colossal fortresses served as both air raid shelters and anti-aircraft platforms, standing as grim monuments to the desperation of total war. Poland, 1940. Polish officer Witold Pilecki deliberately enters Auschwitz to gather intelligence and organize a resistance. His voluntary imprisonment remains one of the most heroic and selfless acts of the Second World War. London, 1953. Young scouts polish a woman's shoes while also keeping a watchful eye on her baby. This scene of urban courtesy captures the community spirit and service-oriented ideals of the post-war era. Oregon, 1941. A weary farmer leans against a wooden wall, dust clinging to his boots. His distant gaze speaks to the exhaustion and resilience required to survive the hardships of the American rural frontier. Washington, 1924. A young boy carefully inflates a leather football on a city sidewalk. This simple moment of preparation captures the enduring passion for sport that connected children across the neighborhoods of the capital. Alabama, 1910. A young boy returns to the textile mill after his brief lunch break. His small stature against the massive industrial machinery serves as a haunting reminder of the children who built modern industry. France, 1914. A medical dog stands ready in a muddy trench, carrying first aid kits to wounded soldiers. These brave animals navigated gunfire and barbed wire, saving countless lives during the Great War. West Berlin, 1950. A mother pushes a fashionable, chrome-accented baby stroller through the city. This sleek design symbolized a return to domestic stability and the growing prosperity of the post-war German Reconstruction. Yasnaya Poliana, 1908. Leo Tolstoy sits for Russia's first color portrait at his estate. This rare image captures the legendary author's piercing gaze and white beard just 2 years before his final departure. Zuikaku, 1941. Japanese dive bomber pilots posed together before the secret mission to attack Pearl Harbor. This group of elite aviators stood at the center of a strike that would ignite global conflict. United States, 1918. A massive contingent of Marines poses with flags and rifles for a recruiting drive. The striking image projected American military strength as the nation mobilized for the final European offensive. Moscow, 1963. Soviet rockets roll through Red Square toward St. Basil's Cathedral. This Cold War parade showcased the USSR's nuclear might, casting a long shadow of tension across the height of the space age. New York City, 1970s. The Twin Towers loom over the West Side Highway as an NYPD cruiser patrols the foreground. This urban landscape captures the gritty, industrial aesthetic of a now-vanished Manhattan era. New York, 1950. A man living in a subterranean sewer reaches the surface, seeing modern civilization for the first time. This shocking visual contrast highlights the hidden, desperate fringes of the post-war city. Kiel, 1932. A menorah sits on a Jewish windowsill, directly facing the Nazi Party headquarters across the street. This quiet act of faith stood in brave defiance against the rising tide of darkness. USS New Jersey, 1944. A sailor shows off his extensive collection of tattoos while serving in the Pacific. His inked skin tells a personal history of travels and superstition during the Second World War. Iran, 1960s. A nurse from the Health Corps instructs village women on modern birth control methods. This initiative was part of a major social push to modernize rural life and improve public health. Birmingham, 1963. A police officer carries a demonstrator holding a Confederate flag away from a school integration protest. The chaotic scene captured the violent resistance to civil rights and the era's deep-seated divisions. California, 1910. Fishermen at Santa Catalina Island display a massive sunfish weighing over 1,600 kilograms. This record-breaking catch showcased the incredible alien scale of marine life lurking just beneath the Pacific surface. Minneapolis, 1924. A woman is arrested for concealing illegal alcohol in a custom-made life preserver during Prohibition. bootleggers used creative ingenuity to smuggle wet goods past the watchful eyes of the local law. Iran, 1960s. A young woman from the Literacy Corps teaches mathematics to children in a remote village school. These educators travel to the countryside to fight illiteracy and empower the next generation. London, 1985. Dudley Moore shares a smile with his son Patrick at the premiere of Santa Claus. The movie, the beloved comedian took a moment from the spotlight to celebrate family during the holidays. Nagasaki, 1945. Aerial photos show the city before and after the Fat Man atomic bomb was dropped. The total erasure of entire neighborhoods remains a haunting testament to the destructive power of nuclear weapons. New York, 1970. Lucy Commissar stands her ground as the first woman allowed into McSorley's old alehouse after a century of exclusion. Her presence sparked heckling from traditionalists during this landmark victory. Abadan, 1978. The charred remains of the Cinema Rex stand as a grim memorial to 400 victims. This horrific terrorist attack fueled the fires of the Iranian Revolution, changing the nation forever. Chicago, 1931. Al Capone serves free hot meals to thousands of unemployed men. At his soup kitchen, the infamous gangster cultivated a public image of charity while simultaneously running a violent criminal empire. England, 1930s. Aleister Crowley, the self-proclaimed Great Beast, poses for a portrait, a figure of mystery and controversy. His occult teachings and eccentric lifestyle fascinated and scandalized the public during his final years. Baddock, 1908. Alexander Graham Bell watches his experimental tetrahedral kite take flight. Even after inventing the telephone, Bell remained obsessed with the mechanics of aviation and the future of human flight over water. Mississippi, 1973. Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker recount their alleged abduction by extraterrestrials. Their story sparked a national media frenzy, becoming one of the most famous and debated cases in UFO history. Berlin, 1945. Allied soldiers stand on Hitler's balcony at the Reich Chancellery, mocking the fallen dictator. This symbolic gesture marked the total collapse of the Third Reich and the victory of the Allies. Pacific Ocean, 1979. An American F-4 Phantom interceptor flies dangerously close to a Soviet Bear bomber. These high-stakes aerial encounters were a regular occurrence, defining the tense military brinkmanship of the Cold War. New Jersey, 1967. Amiri Baraka and Larry Neal discuss the future of the Black Arts movement. These influential poets and activists used their voices to redefine African American identity and culture through art. France, 1851. An alpine village rests quietly beneath the jagged mountain peaks. This early landscape photograph captures the timeless rustic beauty of rural life before the Industrial Revolution reached the high valleys. Moon, 1970. The Soviet rover Lunokhod 1 transmits an early panorama of the lunar surface. This pioneering robotic mission provided humanity with a first-hand look at the craters and desolation of another world. Spain, 1938. An anarchist militia woman poses with her pet during the Spanish Civil War. Her presence on the front lines symbolized the radical social shifts and fierce ideological battles that defined the conflict. United States, 1985. Astronaut Anna Fisher gazes from the cover of Life magazine in her spacesuit as a pioneer for women in NASA. Her image inspired a new generation to reach.